Aries. Aries symbol: the moon spends the day in your solar third house, and you're likely to be busy, although not especially focused, dear Aries. This brief moon transit is good for putting your feelers out and collecting information rather than specializing just for now. Still, a Venus-Saturn opposition today can serve to highlight tensions or relationship problems. As excited as you may be about your leisure time or creative or romantic pursuit, responsibilities or delays can enter the picture, which can be time-consuming. Love matters can be disappointing, or you could come to an epiphany about a past relationship. Superficiality and social niceties can be particularly annoying now, and you may very well do better if you take some space for yourself. If there are criticisms to deal with, they're frustrating, but they might also motivate you to firm things up. You may feel somewhat put off by people in your social circle today. It's possible that you only need to get practical matters out of the way before getting back into the game. A building sense of feeling freer after you turn a corner can guide you now. Aim to examine burdens or fears that prevent you from loosening up. Taurus. Taurus symbol: the moon spends today in your solar second house, encouraging a focus on practical matters, dear Taurus. Today's Venus-Saturn opposition can challenge you to firm up your plans while also caring for spiritual needs. Circumstances might remind you that while home or family life tends to be where your heart is at the moment, you need to take care of business as well. Responsibilities or problems that have been neglected or overlooked have a way of surfacing for your attention. It may be best to stick with your priorities and avoid worrying too much about others' opinions. Even so, there are times when criticisms lead to meaningful improvements, so don't shut them out altogether. A balance is essential now, but if people criticize more than support, aim to make yourself happy first and foremost. Stick with your priorities, but be honest with yourself about what may need revision. Gemini. Gemini symbol: the moon spends the day in your sign, bringing your emotions out of hiding and into the light, dear Gemini. Craving a feeling of connectedness with others can leave you a little more emotionally vulnerable than usual, but you're also braver about going after what you want. Today's Venus-Saturn opposition lies across your communications and transportation axis, calling your attention to a delay or the need to make a change or revision that consumes your time. A helpful strategy is to pay more attention to the details of your pursuits or do your homework, getting the job done while avoiding others' unhelpful opinions. It may not be easy, but prioritizing makes sense. Be a little more careful of what you communicate today. It's also important to consider that others are more sensitive to limits than usual. There can be some problems getting your message across, but it's temporary. Cancer. Cancer symbol: with Venus and Saturn opposing one another today, you could encounter a block, dear Cancer. There can be a realization or responsibility that temporarily puts a damper on your plans, or on your spirits. There could be a disagreement about money or resources, or you might feel blocked from seeking pleasure, making a purchase, or pursuing a particular goal. If an epiphany comes now, look at your discovery from a practical angle, and detach as much as possible. It may be better to know where you stand than to nurse an illusion that will eventually expose itself as unreal. The moon spends the day in the sign behind yours, another sign that slowing down makes sense right now. Leo. The moon spends the day in your social sector, and you're putting your higher goals or happiness pursuits on the front burner, dear Leo. Venus in your sign these days gives you a nice boost, but there can be times when your wonderful manner turns a little too me-centered or when others close to you feel a little threatened by the attention you're receiving from elsewhere. However, Venus opposes Saturn, and you might feel blocked or limited or reminded of responsibilities that get in the way of your personal goals. Someone might seem unnecessarily strict or unyielding. Recognize your need for structure and rules in your relationships, and meet others halfway for best results. If duty and pleasure seem at odds, you may need to strike a compromise. Compromise and objectivity are vital in your dealings today. Virgo. The moon at the top of your solar chart today can help you prioritize and take care of business, dear Virgo. Still, a Venus-Saturn opposition today falls in your solar chart along your health and wellness axis, reminding you of the need to attend to duties and responsibilities. It can temporarily deflate or demotivate you if you're encountering inhibitions or coolness in others, but avoid taking it too personally. Criticism is possible and likely over the top, but it can lead to meaningful improvements if it's even a fraction true. A project can become more demanding, but you'll put the extra effort forth if it's worth your time. Your desire to escape pressure and stress or hide away is strong. Still, you may need to prioritize handling practical matters first. Libra. The moon spends the day in your spirit sector, encouraging you to relax and decompress, dear Libra. A breath of fresh air is vital for your emotional well-being with this moon transit. Still, a Venus-Saturn opposition occurs today, and you may find it challenging to juggle your responsibilities and desires. You could have conflicting feelings related to your social or love life. It may be best to avoid focusing too much on whether someone or something is letting you down. Instead, give your responsibilities and duties their due attention to later pursue your pleasures with less guilt or distraction. Scorpio. The moon spends the day in your intimacy sector, and you can be more reflective or inward than usual, dear Scorpio. With a Venus-Saturn opposition today, there can be a hurdle to clear. You might become aware of duties or delays that prevent you from pursuing your plans or professional pursuits. You may be enjoying your work more than usual these days with Venus at the top of your chart, but home life or personal matters may need extra attention now. A disappointment or reality check is possible to clear the path. In truth, you'll feel better once you do take care of your priorities, after which you can come back to your pleasures and seek them more heartily. You could swing between seeing too much or too little opportunity in your life. It's largely about perceptions, but there can also be some unrest if you haven't been approaching your life and its various departments in a balanced way. Sagittarius. The moon spends the day in your solar 7th house, and it's a good time to lean on someone or put more energy and heart into your relationships, dear Sagittarius. Even so, Venus opposes Saturn today, and there can be an obstacle to manage. You could be dealing with critical or insensitive people. There can be a disagreement or delay. Responsibilities to your daily affairs, errands, and other duties and tasks can increase or make themselves known. Watch for fixating on something you think you want but then discover that it's not the answer to your questions. Instead, your attention is best channeled on fixing problems so that you can move on. Keep in mind that as irritating as criticism or negative feedback can be, it might also motivate you to make improvements. You may need to put in extra work to get your duties out of the way, but you'll be in a much better place once you do. Capricorn. The moon spends the day in your sector of work, routines, and self-care, dear Capricorn, turning your attention to those things that might be out of order. Today's Venus-Saturn opposition occurs in your sharing sectors, and a financial constraint or disagreement may emerge. Keep in mind that the extra work you put into fixing mistakes can impact future success. Something might trigger fears about money or security now, but facing a reality and adapting to it can improve your life. Try not to let delays discourage you, as they often come at important times, allowing you to make valuable edits. Aquarius. The moon transits in harmony with your sign today, and you're likely to pay more attention to creating, sharing, and enjoying yourself, dear Aquarius. Still, Today's Venus-Saturn opposition can suggest your stronger need for companionship or connection with others might clash with a tendency to go it alone or handle problem areas your own way. For example, someone may seem too carefree as you take on all the burdens and responsibilities. Or, people may be getting in your way or demanding attention that you would prefer to direct towards more practical tasks. Try to get the space you need to attend to your duties without isolating yourself or causing a stir with someone you care about. Pisces. The moon spends the day in your solar fourth house, dear Pisces, and family activities, home life, and your need for comfort and familiarity assume more importance. A Venus-Saturn opposition can point to some minor and temporary discouragement. For example, if your heart isn't in what you're doing, you can feel under the weather. Delays might temporarily pull you away from the things you enjoy doing. Or, past mistakes or unfinished business can surface, and handling a duty may be necessary before moving on. Recognize the need to make changes in existing projects if it helps you go forward lighter and happier. It may be best to deal with your responsibilities, and in fact, they can seem inescapable right now, but don't overburden yourself, either.